Well, from Star Trek, space as a final exploration for human, I'm here to talk about the funding of the manned or unmanned space exploration. Well, space exploration can help us understand planets or our Earth from outer space. And in order to do all this exploration, we need a huge amount of funding. My major plans are space exploration are underfunded and resulting no new significant discovery. My secondary claim are space exploration needs to be fun to gain experience for any kind of future mission. For example, according to NASA, Project Gemini and Project Apollo, they are the link program in order to function together. First, the Project Geminis are the planetary program that just used as a test bed for Apollo mission, like the docking skill and the planet flight experience. And next, Space Station Mir, the Russian space station. It is designed as a short-term station that functions as Skylab, the outer space laboratory. After the crash at 1997, many countries are put together the funding to build the International Space Station and use the station Mir as the design basis. And third, if it's funded, our Mars mission can use all the information from the past, like space astronaut that on the space station. We can learn from them, like how to live under zero gravity, or such as the landing sequence from the Apollo mission. And my secondary claims are space exploration needs money to give us the data needed to understand the condition on other planets. First, a few decades ago, NASA has the money to organize a few Mars rovers to explore the condition on the surface of the Mars. Starting from 1990, these around 5 or 7 Mars rovers has launched into Mars to explore the potential water, mineral on Mars. Like the rover has actually discovered that there are signs that water exists all over the Mars. Also, Apollo program collects data from the moon. That it brings us back the soil sample on the moon, so we know that the approximate age of the moon is the same as the Earth. And third, NASA also needs the money to have research about any kind of technology. For example, everybody knows there's a memory foam that's called temperature repeated. Well, it's a product actually from NASA, developed during 1966, originally used as the sound barrier for the shuttle and the aircraft. Well, after the research from the NASA, it was introduced to the public. Now it turns out to be a really comfortable bed. And next, the handheld vacuum, which a lot of car lovers like to use on their car to vacuum out the small space. Well, the technology is also from NASA, which is during the Apollo mission for the astronauts to clean up their space cabin. And to sum this up, manned and unmanned space program needs to be funded because, well, if we doesn't have any money, we can't do anything. Thank you.
All right, well, I like the attention device and the idea that you introduced the subject, but you've got two propositions, not a single proposition, and I think that's a little bit problematic. Also, when you preview the contents of the speech, it sounds like you just have one supporting point, but when you get into the speech, you have two. Those two supporting points were labeled clearly when you got to each of them, so that's helpful. Basically, you've got example evidence that you're using in several places. You've got historical information about how NASA built on previous experience to be able to do the next thing in their series. And what you need to do is integrate a point in here that shows that we have basically interrupted the sequence of this kind of research, that we have discontinued funding of manned space programs, that we don't have a shuttle available, that we're not able to develop materials on the International Space Station because we are not funding those kinds of programs. And so as a consequence, developing any future missions is going to be more complicated because we're not doing that sort of thing right now. Then you have some other issues about potential advantages of doing manned space exploration. And, the two examples that you come up with, Tempur-Pedic beds and mini vacuums, I'm not sure that they are overwhelmingly huge advantages, but at least there's some kind of advantage that you're presenting there. I think the scientific evidence is a little bit stronger, but you're talking about the Mars rover, for instance, and you talk about the moon lander and getting information there. Well, the moon lander, obviously, that was a manned mission, but the Mars rover has gotten us this information. It's not a manned mission. Are we not doing continuing unmanned missions into outer space? See, I don't think there's enough of discussion of what the current economic situation is in NASA to show that a controversy exists. All the stuff that you tell us about on the first point about how we built on knowledge from Gemini and used that for Apollo, and how we built on knowledge from Mir to build the International Space Station, I don't think there's any controversy on that point. That's not where the dispute is. The dispute is whether or not we have enough information being developed now to help us in the future. And that's the part that you neglect to talk about, what's going on right now, and that's the critical issue. There's a severe shortage of funding, and that's what you needed to develop. There wasn't any citation of any sources in the presentation. Mostly you're presenting examples and factual data as proof. I don't doubt most of the factual data, and I don't think that there's any doubt about the examples, but at least you should give us a source citation for those. There's a little bit too much reading in the presentation. I think you've got a good subject here. You've got the start of a good speech, but it feels like it's missing a couple of key points, and you need a better citation of the evidence. All right, thank you.